the issue about corruption and poverty. First, we need to define what corruption and poverty is. Corruption is a form of criminal activity or dishonesty. It refers to an evil act by an individual or a group. However, corruption can take place in many ways. Most probably, people in positions of authority are susceptible of corruption. Corruption certainly reflects greedy and selfish behavior. And these are the causes of corruption: greed for personal gain, lack of personal morals, low awareness of the issue, lack of transparency, weak monitoring and regulation. And I am here to discuss those causes. First, greed for personal gain. This is the most common reason for corruption. The selfishly acquire as much as personal wealth as possible. Second is lack of personal morals. This means that people know what good behavior is, but they choose to misbehave. Greed is often combined with this factor as it affects people's moral compass. Third, low awareness of the issue. If employees fail employee ABCD training, this is because the staff do not know the consequences of their actions. And the number 4, lack of transparency. If a country or a business factors, or rather foster an environment where corruption is accepted and commonplace, people will offend more people. And last but not the least, weak regulation and monitoring. Corruption is a threat to business and society, and it damages the reputation of economies and organizations. Now, let's move on to the next topic: poverty. Poverty is not having enough materials, possession, or income to meet one's basic need. Poverty may include social, economic, and political factors. And as you can see, these are the causes of poverty. But all in all, compared with the wealthier population, the poorest people work in agriculture and live areas prone to natural disaster. Insufficient numbers of good jobs available and underinvestment on education leading to high income equality. So, how can we prevent poverty? Proven programs such as high-quality early care and education and nurse-family partnership can help mitigate the effects of poverty. But if we really want to improve the life prospects of children hiring in poverty, we need to reduce the numbers of children living in poverty. By this, it increases their family income. That are the ways that we can do to prevent poverty. I hope you understand the lesson.
Now I'm going to discuss the inefficiency in the office. So first of all, let me define what inefficiency is. It is the state of not achieving the maximum productivity. It is the failure to make the best use of resources and time. Now I'm going to discuss the effects of inefficiency. It has effects on time, resources, productivity, and morale. So in time, for example, there is a worker in a workplace who is being ineffective on his work. There is a possibility that he or she will make a mistake on doing his job. So in making a solution on that mistake, it will take a time. So it is a waste of time of being inefficient. Next is on the resources. Like in the situation that I mentioned, if ever there is a worker who make a mistake on his job, it will also take a additional resources on repairing a product. For example, it needs a additional resources. Next is in productivity. So due to the excessive use of resources, excessive use of time, it will now affect their productivity. The productivity of their company, for example, it will now, there is a possibility that there is a unstable production of goods or products and services. Lastly is in moral. If they are having a poor performance in their workplace, it is not impossible to receive a undesirable comments or feedbacks on their works or services. It will now affect their mental or emotional condition. And now they are now unmotivated in doing the best job. Now let's move on to the cause of inefficiency in the workplace. I think the most common cause of inefficiency is the lack or poor communication between the workers within the workplace. Because if there is a good communication between those workers, it will help them to share knowledge, and that will help them to improve their quality of work. And also it may help them to increase their confidence in doing their work, and also the engagement in their job. So having a lack or poor communication in the workplace prevents those good things to happen, and that will negatively affect the company or a workplace.
Education system refers to the economic and social factors that typically make up public schools at the federal, state, or community levels. Such factors include public fundings, school facilities, staffing, compensation, employee benefits, teaching resources, and more.
Cause and effect. Education allows us to discover ourselves, our environment, and our world, and to make educated choices about our future. Educated men and women have the skill, information, and self confidence to make better parents, workers, and citizens. Education is an important issue in one's life. It is the key to success in the future and to have many opportunities in our life. It illuminates a person's mind and thinking. Education is an influential step in staying competitive and enhancing your skills. Pursuing educational training helps you keep moving forward. Working hard at getting a good education was long been seen as the right thing to do. Because education is the key to success. It helps you to make the world a better place. Quality education for all citizens at all levels is the mandate of the Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines as stipulated in Article 14, Section 1 of 1987. Constitution. The state shall protect and promote the rights of all citizens to quality education at all levels and shall take appropriate steps to make such education accessible to all. Education helps people earn respect and recognition. It is indispensable in all aspects of life, personally, socially, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and intellectually. With this law, it follows the premise that whatever race or social standing you belong to, the right to educate yourself will always be a part of your basic right as a Filipino citizen, no matter how costly or affordable it might be. because they believe that having a better education opens opportunity that will ensure a good future and eventually lift them out of poverty.
Issues regarding the Philippine educational system: colonial, feudal, imperial, commercial, and elitist orientation in Philippine education. A rather sweeping indictment is that the Philippine educational system has been and still basically American in orientation and objectives. Even now, despite years of independence, our educational system has not succeeded in eliminating the chronic colonial mentality which abounds like a metal blight within or without the academe. At present, quality education is financial capacity based in making higher education more of a privilege rather than a right. It means that after how many years and even now, the quality of our education are not succeeded in eliminating the chronic mentality and only based on financial. Many people are lack of education because of poverty. They cannot support their educational needs. They are losing their right to get the qualities of education that they needed. Education are open for all, but the sad reality at present, we didn't get the ability to support our educational needs. We didn't get the qualities of education for us to be professionals. The truth is, at present, money are most important in getting the qualities of education, and we are losing our right to get the better future. Shortage of school buildings, textbooks, and equipments. The shortage of classrooms and textbooks are particularly severe. The nationwide classroom shortage is estimated to be 4,000 and the DECS, that is now DepEd, operates two shifts in many schools. The textbooks problem is even more serious. A survey done in preparation for a World Bank education loan found that the pupil textbook ration in the public elementary school and 79% of the textbooks are more than 5 years old. This situation has persisted for many years. So shortage for educational things are the issues of Philippine educational systems. Shortage of school buildings, textbooks, and equipment are due to the low government budget to provide all the needs for education. Because of shortage, students didn't get the qualities of education that they need, and they are settled for less. It is a serious matter for our future generations, so governments should take an actions about these issues.
Educational status during the COVID-19 pandemic. Due to COVID-19, educational issues in the Philippines have increased and received new challenges that worsened the current state of the country. With the sudden events brought about by the health crisis, distance learning modes via internet or TV broadcasts were ordered. Further, a blended learning program was launched on October 2020. Involved online classes, printouts, and lessons broadcast on TV and social media platforms. Thus, the new learning pathways rely on students and teachers having access to the internet. Flexible learning involves a balance of power between institutions and students. It seeks to find ways in which choice can be provided, economically viable and appropriately manageable for institutions and students alike. Active learning is an approach to instructions that actively engaging students with a course material through discussion, problem solving, case study, role plays, and other methods. Active learning approaches place a greater degree of responsibility on the learner than passive approaches such as lectures. But instructor guidance is still crucial in the active learning classroom.
Corruption often conjures up images of people getting rich. But in fact, corruption's connections to poverty are far more numerous and pervasive. Corruption delays, distorts, and diverts economic growth. It comes in a variety of forms, and while no two countries are alike, there are common dilemmas for all to see. We all know that corruption are the most controversial issues in the Philippines that causes poverty, inequality, lack of education, lack of personal morals, lack of awareness of issues, greed for personal gain, and etc. Corruption is a serious matter of using their power to support one personal gain. Corruption are actually ruin the development of our country.